Constructive Smart. This episode we'll be discussing all things waterproofing. So Troy, can you tell me a bit more about waterproofing?
Absolutely. Look, waterproofing extremely important in the overall construction process. There's two main reasons that waterproofing is so important. The first one is it needs to protect the structure. If you get water egressing out of areas where it shouldn't be, it can cause other issues throughout the building fabric. And the second one is the health and amenity of the building. If we do get water getting out again of the areas that it should be in and getting into the plumbing, it starts to cause other mould, mildew and other health issues throughout the building. So they're the two main focus areas for me.
Where would you use waterproofing in a building?
Fairly obvious. We've all got one. Bathrooms, where there's lots of water. Certainly your shower, your bathtubs. Some less obvious areas might be your verandas, perhaps balconies and roof terraces, even rooftop gardens.
So now we know where they're used. What are some of the key points to waterproofing?
Look, like everything in construction, I like to keep it simple, right? So what we need to try and achieve in waterproofing is what we want to produce is we need to produce a vessel. And what I mean by producing a vessel, you'll see on this diagram here, it's just a little section through a typical bathroom. And the blue line here highlights the waterproof membrane. You'll see it turns up on this side and goes up on this side, likely to where the shower fittings are, but it creates that vessel so that if any water does get through your tile grout into the tile formation, it stays within that vessel. Importantly, nearly missed it, it goes out of the correct location, and here's where my favourite is. This is the puddle flange, right? This is where it's really important. If we get this detail right, it ensures the water exits where we want it to exit.
So you're saying the puddle flange is really important. Why is this?
Look, like I said, it's the outlet where the water gets out into the plumbing. I've brought a puddle flange along with me today. They're so important. I keep them here at the office and we talk about them continuously. So this here is a puddle flange. You'll see on this side here it connects into your plumbing. The underside of the puddle flange will sit down onto your structure. And then what happens, you sit that down into your plumbing, onto the structure, and then your waterproof membrane goes over the top of this and tucks in. Now you look on this puddle flange, you'll see around here that there's these little tabs, and what they're meant to do is to hold your floor waste. And they hold your floor waste in there, and you'll see there's still a gap. Now what that gap does, it allows the waterproof membrane to come in and under, and it keeps a gap underneath here so that any water that's trapped underneath the tiles gets out into your puddle flange and doesn't go into other parts of the building.
So not that we ever want this to happen, but what does happen if the water escapes? Yeah,
like I said earlier, what does happen is you start to get issues with other parts of the building and other parts of the structure. So I've got a couple of images here. Here you can see there's some what looks like rising damp, and this has come from the bathroom, which is on the other side of the wall. It's got into the wall fabric and it's causing issues with the plaster. You'll also see there's a power point nearby, and that's not good mixing water and electricity, which everybody knows. Beg your pardon. Here you can see another photo with some water. Here you've got metal door frames, very common throughout most of brick construction in WA. Metal door frames, and you're starting to see the signs of rust coming through. And here, another little photo, which technology's tricking me here. That's okay. And you've got your render beads. Quite often they're a galvanised render bead, and you can see the rust starting to show, and you've still got the pitting and the rising damp issue coming through as well. So there's some images of what can happen to the building fabric. What I've done also is I've got some photos of what it should look like when it does get installed. Here you go, here's a photo of a partial installation of a waterproof membrane. You'll see the membrane's been installed. In the middle of the photo there's the puddle flange, and the waterproof membrane goes all the way over and into that puddle flange. The next photo I've got here is the tiles have been installed. So from here you can still see that puddle flange, all the grout lines here. Any water that might get through your grout makes its way across the membrane and down into the puddle flange. And then this last photo here just shows your floor waste back there. It's been installed, just sat down securely into the puddle flange to give you the architectural finish and stop you dropping things down the drain.
So waterproofing seems like a pretty simple concept, and like you've discussed the importance of the puddle flange. Are there any other constructive smart points to waterproofing?
You're right, Bree. It's certainly about simple. Keep everything as simple as you possibly can. Use my friend the puddle flange. Create that vessel in whatever room it is that you're doing. Create the vessel of waterproofing down into this puddle flange. That's imperative. Now, in order to do that, you need to make sure you use qualified trades. Make sure the plumber does the connection and a qualified waterproof technician does the waterproof installation. Once that's done, you then need to protect the waterproof membrane. With multiple other trades coming in on top, we need to make sure we look after that so we don't get any penetrations. Our entire team here at BE Projects, we talk about these things continuously. We have in-house training where we look at the issues and look at how we can manage them best. We've developed a tiling QA checklist. Now, we use this checklist throughout the process, so our team just has prompts continually to make sure we give ourselves the best chance of getting this right. Look, that's just a snippet of waterproofing. You've got the Australian standard here for waterproofing. It goes into much more detail. There's a lot more to it, but I think, like you said, keep it simple, create that vessel, get it to my favourite, down into the puddle flange, and generally you won't go too far wrong. So look, thank you very much. That's waterproofing for today, and we look forward to talking to you on our next episode of Constructive Smart. Thanks.